Hi peak performer, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am really excited to record this particular video today because in today's video I want to share with you 10 questions to reflect on the year 2022. I'm doing these videos every single year, however they have changed a lot in format over the last 3 years. I really honestly can't believe that I'm recording this video already because the year's over. I knew that this year is going to be, for whatever reason, faster than the last 2 years, and we'll talk about this in a second of why I feel this way, but it's been honestly crazy and I really love to sit down to reflect on the year, and I love preparing this video because it really helped me to take a moment to not just reflect on what happened but also celebrate what happened, celebrate how far I have come, acknowledge how far I have come, and yeah, and just, you know, set myself up for success obviously in the year of 2023 as well. In today's video I am purely going to share 10 journaling prompts and the insights that I have gained from reflecting on these, and there's going to be another video on my YouTube channel coming up here soon where we're planning together for 2023, so just that as a heads up. I've been recording these videos for the last 3 years, but every year it's a little bit different, and honestly this year I am really comfortable to share more personal insights about my own life. I feel like it took me a little bit of time to get comfortable to that honestly on YouTube, but in the first YouTube video you'll see such an old video, such a shitty quality, but a lot of people actually watched that video, so it was kind of interesting for me to see that you're obviously really interested in learning a little bit more about my own life and that you also like to take the time to reflect on the year. And then last year's self-reflection video was a lot more about the benefits of doing this specific exercise, and then obviously a couple of different journaling prompts as well. So as I said, in today's video I just wanted to sit down, take a cup of coffee, take a quick sip, and then really dive with you into the 10 different questions that I have prepared for you this year in order to reflect on 2022. I'm super excited to share with you a lot of different insights and celebrate with you wins, acknowledge how far I have come, and I would say let's dive into the first question. And the first question is, where were you this time last year? And this is a really powerful moment for me to reflect on these things because I think around this time last year I was still pretty insecure and not so sure about what I wanted out of my life. I had gone through a pretty crazy breakup and heartbreak for a year and a half, and I was just kind of trying to find myself again. I started dating different people and I just really enjoyed being independent and single and focus on myself, be very selfish about all of the things that I wanted to do. I had a lot of time for myself, which was sometimes really nice and sometimes not so nice, but I was still in kind of this in-between phase where I was still healing a little bit, where still things came up for me that triggered me quite significantly and that I had to work through. So yeah, so I would say, you know, emotionally and physically last year I was in a very different place. Physically I was definitely a lot more fit than last year, I have to acknowledge that, which doesn't make me very happy to say that, but that's again also just the way it is. However, emotionally I feel like I'm a lot safer, a lot more stable and a lot happier. So that's where I was last year. And then the next question is, where are you now? And this is also really fun to reflect on because just in a year so many things can change, and people always told me, you know, time will heal all wounds and you're gonna be in a relationship again and you're going to be much better off and you're going to be so much happier and you will understand why all of the things that happened to you. And so yes, I can absolutely say that was very true, and I did believe in that in some sort of way, but you know, obviously when you are in a really difficult space emotionally and mentally, then it's sometimes hard to still see that light at the end of the tunnel. So where am I now? I am in a very happy relationship. I moved together with my boyfriend in September, October of this year, so I am living with my boyfriend And yeah, and my business has gone through yet another transformation, I feel like, this year, with a lot of different challenges that happened throughout the course of the year in the market that I had to just adjust to and acknowledge that that's what's happening, and just focus on things that are in my control. And so yeah, so those are the things I feel like where I am now. Like I said, physically I'm not really where I want to be. I definitely gained a few pounds. I didn't have as much time for exercise, so it's been interesting, right? I'm emotionally and mentally a lot stronger and happier. Physically, I'm working on it, but it's okay, because I think, you know, I realized over the last year, 2 years, that sometimes we can be in the best shape of our lives, but internally we might be super sad. And then vice versa, right? We might be not super comfortable in our own skin, because, you know, I feel like when you're meeting a boyfriend, I don't know if it's just me, but you know, I feel like you eat more, you get more comfortable, and you know, there's obviously different eating habits and behaviors as well. I feel like guys can just eat whatever they want, and my boyfriend loves food, and he's also having a very physically demanding job, so he can eat whatever he wants. And I feel like I kind of got used to that for a couple of months, and then realized that I can't really do that, because I'm sitting in my office in front of my computer, and I'm not moving as much, and I am not burning as many calories, and that's sometimes super frustrating, but that's just the way it is. So that's where I am today. The next journaling question to reflect on your year 2022 is the question, what made you happy this year? And I think, you know, is obviously very obvious. I am very happy that I have my boyfriend, very happy that I moved in together with him. I'm also really happy about the development of my business, even though from a goals perspective, I didn't hit the goals that I set out to have this year in terms of revenue. It was a pretty challenging year. I'll talk a little bit more about this later, but yeah, that was not so cool, obviously, right? Because we're setting ourselves goals in order to achieve them, and I am super ambitious and self-disciplined to work towards those goals. But the market was just very different again this year, with going back to the office, with budget cuts, with people being laid off in the tech companies that I work with. And so that was obviously immediately directly impacting my own business. And so yeah, but other than that, I still feel really happy about how my business evolved, because I really focused on the things that were in my control. I hired a couple of people. I really focused on business development. I focused on building really powerful sales pages and landing pages for all of the different things that I have created over the few last years. And I'm also really happy about landing my first upper 5-figure deal with a company, which has been something that I've been obviously working towards. It's been 4 years almost in business now, and this year was the first year where I actually increased my pricing and where I felt more comfortable to do that as well. So even though I didn't do as many workshops, I had, you know, I made more money with the workshops that I did, and I also had the peak performance planner to sell alongside with my workshops, so people had something physical in their hands and something tangible that they can work with. So that was all really fun, and I'm obviously celebrating the launch and, you know, the just kind of the peak performance planner in its own. That took me a lot of time to get that out on the market, and it was a process, but that's all of the things that happened this year as well, and I'm totally happy about how that went as well. The next journaling question for you is, what made you sad this year? And I think this is a really good question to think about, and honestly something that I'm really celebrating this year. And you might wonder, why? Well, because I feel like I was so sad the last 2 years prior to this year that I honestly really celebrated not being as sad this year as I was the last 2 years, because I went through a really difficult time, an emotional roller coaster, and it took me a long time to recover from that. So it was a really nice year for me this year emotionally, to be like, I'm not as sad, and I'm not crying, you know, a few times every day, and I'm not going through all of these difficult feelings and coping with all of these difficult feelings. I think there's one thing that did make me a little sad this year, which was something that has actually nothing to do with me but with my sister. My sister was going through a couple of different health challenges this year, and that was super difficult to watch and super difficult to be there for her and know what you can do right when someone else is going through a difficult time. And so that's definitely something that stuck out for me this year, but I'm also happy to report that she's doing better. I'm super happy that that's kind of the development over the course of this year as well. The next question that I have for you is a good one, and the question is, if you could describe the year of 2022 in 3 words, what would those 3 words be? For me, it is business development, because I focused like crazy on business development this year, and I'm honestly really excited to see how next year will shape up, because I feel like I made so many connections. I created a really strong network of new companies, and I hope that maybe with this year it didn't work out because of the budget cuts, but I really hope that over the course of next year all of this hard work will pay off. So business development. The second word for me this year is team, because I actually built a new team that is supporting me, and I love my team so much. I did that in August, September, as I was starting to feel that a lot of things are shifting and changing in my own world, in my business world. And so I set up a team of different assistants, virtual assistant, marketing assistant, advertising assistant, and then obviously my editor. And it's a group of all strong women of different color and different background, and I'm really excited to have a diverse team of people helping me with this. And so that's my second word. And then my third word is love, because I'm in love, and it's really nice to say that, and I really celebrate that as well, because it was a little bit of a process coming here, but here I am, and it feels good to say that. Okay, so here comes a little bit more of a specific question. What goals did you accomplish this year? And in order to do that, I went back to my list of the things that I set out to do this year, and I'm going to just read that list to you. So here are the things that I wanted to accomplish this year. Number 1, read a book every month. Number 2, launch the Peak Performance Planner and promote it. Number 3, focus on business development, including hiring the right people for the job. Number 4, invest my money more smartly and hire a financial advisor. Invest in growing and learning programs, setting up proper accounting for s-corp and paying myself a salary. Refresh the Peak Performance Method program, scroll 15 minutes daily through LinkedIn, hire a business coach, and hire an assistant. And I am super excited to report that I accomplished almost all of these different goals, and I think this is really, you know, a sign for itself that when you are really clear on the goals that you have, and when you are doing regular check-ins with yourself, I think this is the most important thing, to hold yourself accountable to the things that you are setting out to do, then you can actually accomplish them. You need to have goals, you need to have a plan, and you need to stay accountable and committed and check in with yourself if you're actually moving towards that way. So many of these things are accomplished, are in the process, and I'm really proud of that, of course. So the next journaling prompt for you is, what goals did you not accomplish? So as you maybe remember, back in January of 2022, I said that I wanted to read a book every single month and do a book review on it. In 2022, I really want to read 1 book per month, challenge myself to actually get through the book and read it from end to end, because I have this really annoying habit that I'm buying a ton of different books, but I don't finish them. I read them, I start them, but I never finish them. So I wanted to hold myself accountable to actually finish a couple of different books, and I have them sitting here, so I'm going to show them really quickly. So I did actually 5 different reviews on books. Oh, those are actually not all the books that I did. No, never mind. Anyway, I have finished 5 book reviews on my YouTube channel. I have read 12 books in total for sure this year, from the beginning to the end, but I didn't do all YouTube videos about it because I don't know why, but I just didn't. So that is kind of a thing that I didn't accomplish, and that's totally okay. Invest in my own learning and growing. I did not do that as much this year, even though, you know, I feel like I learned so many different things. I hired a business mentor, I hired a business coach, I hired obviously different assistants, so I learned a lot through that process, 100%. But I still feel like I didn't really invest in something just for myself. And I am happy to report that I actually am planning to sign up for a brain-based leadership program in January. I already picked it, I already have it on my calendar. It's gonna start in February. I'm very excited about it, to finally invest in my own learning again. I actually did talk about it in my mid-year review video as well, that I wanted to do that for the second half of the year, and honestly it just did not happen because I was incredibly busy and focused on another million different things, and so it just didn't happen, and that's totally okay as well. But I am making a point to already set up a goal for 2023 to actually achieve that. And then another thing that you heard me talk about all the time in my Plan With Me videos throughout the whole year was the goal to exercise 5 times a week and to eat healthy foods. And as I already mentioned a little bit earlier on, this is definitely something that I'm not very happy about this year, and that was a lot on my mind over the last couple of months. And I've been really trying to kind of get back into a better routine. Like I said, I moved in with my boyfriend, and there's these influences when he's eating these yummy foods, but I think I just really realized how important it is for me to stay healthy and to eat the way I need to eat and to move the way I need to move in order to feel good about myself. And so yeah, so I'm not really where I want to be this year in terms of exercise and eating healthy and maybe even weight. However, that's okay as well. I know that everything is a process, and yeah, it will be better. I will, you know, get back into that right now, right? I'm already working on it. I'm already in the process of being better about eating healthier foods, not eating as much sugar. I've been eating a ton of sugar lately, pretty bad. And then I've also not been exercising as much because I've been so busy with work, so busy. And not because I've had so many bookings on so many clients, but really because I focused so much on business development, hiring the right team. Talking to my team obviously on a daily basis requires time as well. And then also just setting up my business for success in the long term, and I'm super excited about that. The next question that I asked myself, and then I want you to ask yourself, is the question, what new habits have you acquired? And the first thing that I did was I bought this beautiful camera that I'm so excited about. I'm so happy that I made this investment. I think the quality of these videos is just so much better, even though it might be pretty light in my office right now. But yeah, I really love my new camera, and I learned a lot of different skills around that this year. Not just how to manually shoot and record videos, but also how to edit them. Because yeah, my good friend Aubrey, she got me into all of these different things, and that's definitely a new habit and skill that I acquired. I think I really learned how to business develop, right? I know that this takes a lot of time, so that was a huge learning for me this year, business development. Learned new software, learned new tools on how to set up LinkedIn campaigns. So that was a really big kind of habit that I acquired. Let me think, let me check my notes. The habit of delegating tasks and getting help from experts and professionals. I think that's a really important habit as well, because I think I am one of these people that loves to control everything, and I'm super perfectionist about everything, and really having some time to like practice delegating tasks was a good habit for me to learn. And then finally, the one thing that I learned this year as well is to do more at-home workout videos. My sister really inspired me to do this because she's been really getting into this and she looks great. And so I've been really starting that as well, and honestly it's been awesome. I really love it. I feel like 10 minutes, 15-minute videos, the time goes by so quickly, but it's so efficient and so effective. So really happy that I got into that habit this year as well. 2 more questions. Number 1. What important decisions did you make and how did they change you? This was a question that I didn't have enough time to think about, but I feel like there are so many different things that obviously were big decisions that helped me change myself and my business. I would say hiring a virtual assistant was a huge decision this year, and obviously hiring experts for other things as well. People are always like, you can do that yourself, but I'm like, my time is limited as well. And this year I think I've really come to that point after 3.5, 4 years in business, where I was just like, I don't want to do these things on my own anymore. I know that there are people out there that can do it way better than me, and I'm happy to invest that money because it's just the right thing to do in order to just, you know, increase the quality of my work as well overall, and increase my landing pages and all that kind of stuff. So that was a huge decision for me, I believe, to really set up that team again that I've been waiting for. And like I said, I'm super excited about the people that I have. And then I've been getting a business mentor, I've been getting a business coach, I've been really talking to a lot of different people in order to get help. And that was a big decision. I don't think that I did that because, I don't know, I maybe just not really thought about it the last few years, but having that person by my side that also holds me accountable and checks in with me and that I have to kind of report to is a different kind of feeling. So it was a big decision for me this year, and it really helped me to stay true to my goals. So I would say those mirror the two big things. And the last question for you today on how to reflect on the year 2022 is the question: what is the most important lesson 2022 has taught you? And there are two things that I want to mention, or maybe three, or maybe more. Number one, business development takes a ton of time. It does not come easy to me, but you can be successful. I have had multiple bookings through my business development efforts this year, and I hope that it's going to be even better next year. There are a lot of amazing prospects, a lot of amazing companies that I am talking to, and I really want to get those deals. I want to land my first 6-figure deals. They are in the works and I'm really close. I can feel it. I feel like 2023 will be incredibly successful revenue-wise, and I'm going to report on this obviously in this video next year. But I feel good about it. Business development sucks, honestly, but I've really tried to make it my friend this year. The next big thing that I learned this year was that even though in comparison I did way less workshops this year, I did 31 workshops this year, 76 workshops last year. My plan was to do 100 workshops this year, and I didn't even do half of it. You know, I did like a little bit over a quarter of that goal because of just the landscape and how the market was and how my companies were struggling with their own internal things, right? And so that was super scary for me, and I kind of saw that coming already in June, July of this year. So I made that shift. You know, I focused on other things. As I mentioned earlier, I increased my pricing this year for workshops and also for one-on-one coaching. And so I onboarded more one-on-one clients. I focused some of the business development efforts on that as well. And really my learning is that even though I have significantly less workshops this year, I made almost, I'm pretty close. I made almost as much money this year as I made last year in terms of income, obviously not profit. I will have to look at that. I haven't done that yet, but profit is going to be probably less than last year, but income almost the same, and I'm really proud about that because it took me a lot of time and effort to do that. And it really is kind of that learning that even though, you know, sometimes you set out to do these specific goals, it's not gonna always happen, and you can't beat yourself up about that. It is just what it is, right? You can just do as much and you can control what is in your control, but then there are things that are outside of your control, and there were some big things that were outside of my control this year, and that's just what it is. And then I think my other big learning in 2022 is, you know, I think also something that I shared at the beginning of the video is that I'm happily in love again. I'm in a happy relationship. I'm living with my boyfriend, and things can change so quickly. So that's all I wanted to share for today. My battery is already blinking, so hope that you're taking the time to do these questions as well, and I hope to see you in the next video.